All right, friends, welcome back to the Crisis Report. If you can hear me, please hit the 5x5. Yeah, so as I was basically trying to say last time, um, this is the second time that they have cut off my sound. So I don't know what the deal is with whoever in the back, but if I have you right now to listen to me, all I'm doing is reporting on things by a person that has 3 educational university degrees. I'm licensed in 4 states to teach. I have numerous academic accolades, and I'm not some butthead that's out there trying to be NBC. I'm a guy with a geopolitical background with a political science degree and a master's of education, just trying to get some information about the future of our geopolitical stance. So, all I can say is stop messing with me and my channel. Okay? If you have such a problem with us, just take us down. Okay? And I'll go over to Rumble where I'll get some fucking respect. It's absolutely ridiculous that you guys keep doing this to me. All right, on that note, we're going to get started. You've got the crisis report, and they do it on purpose. This is all done on purpose. So I can't even imagine what it's like to be just that problematic, that what we're doing here is such a problem. It's obviously a personal vendetta by someone in the background who just doesn't like what I'm doing. I'm sorry your politics suck. I'm sorry that leftist progressive fascism isn't working anymore. So sit back and enjoy the show, because we're just getting started. On that note, friends, thanks so much for being here. As you can see, you have to help me, okay? You have to help me. You have to support this. You have to push this stuff out. This should tell you everything you need to know. I don't know what's going on. Like, I chose StreamYard so they couldn't mess with my sound, because last time they messed with my sound. So pretty please the sugar on top. Help out the channel and do everything. Yeah, so I'm getting exactly. HVPS. I see Hudson Valley's here. He's texting me from the background, making sure everything is going. Yeah, they are. They're doing everything I can. Yeah, Operation Pocketbook is correct. I'm with you. Let's go back to that, brother. By the way, I'm going to be going on Monday night with Hudson Valley Preparedness on his channel. We're going to talk about a lot of this. So we appreciate you being here. No, they don't like truth speakers. I don't care what the truth is, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't care. I just want the truth. I just want the truth. That's all it is. I want my kids to grow up in a free country. I'm not here because I want to be popular. I'm not here because I'm making killer money. If you were to take how much money I make from the crisis report on an hourly basis, it works out to be about $5. Okay, I played music last night and made about 300 doing it. Trust me, I'm not here for a paycheck. So I don't know what the hell their problem is. I don't care. We're going to get started on the crisis report. We appreciate you being here. Here we go. Pentagon is preparing for potential cuts as Elon Musk's Doge will review the department soon. Parts of the United States military are preparing lists of weapons that they have long wanted to cancel. The Army is eyeing surplus drones and vehicles, while the Navy considers scaling back littoral combat ships. United States Vice President J.D. Vance may announce a mass withdrawal from Europe at the Munich conference. Zelensky says if we are not accepted into NATO, Ukraine will have an army of 1.5 million soldiers and modern weapons. Zelensky also said, I will visit Saudi Arabia, but I will not have a meeting with Russia or America. That was a big thing that happened yesterday. We've got some more developments on all that as well. Russia will prepare 15 divisions for training and strengthening the situation in the Belarusian direction. I am not sure that those divisions will go on the offensive against Ukraine. It could be Poland. It could be the Baltic countries. So we shall see. The West will have to change their suits into military uniforms if we in the U.S. don't find a concrete solution on how to put pressure on Putin. Turkish President Erdogan said terrorist organizations must understand that there is no place for them in Syria. Otherwise, we will not hesitate action to tell them the truth. Ukraine prosecutors general's office opened a number of criminal proceedings regarding former President Poroshenko and others. He was the guy before Zelensky. He was the person before Zelensky. We Europeans are not in a position to provide credible deterrence in Ukraine without U.S. help. That is according to German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius. Popular Preparedness was on earlier, and he said, basically, you guys have more people, more money, more of an economy. What is going on? Why can't you fund your own stuff? Why do you need us so bad? It's a good question. Hamas announced that they will release 3 hostages tomorrow: Sasha Alexander Trubnov, Saji Dekel Khan, and Yair Horn. Netanyahu's office says that Hamas's prisoner list is acceptable. Those prisoners have been released today. Israel is expected to release 369 Palestinian prisoners tomorrow as a part of a swap deal. Trump's team has informed its European allies that it wants them to buy weapons with military equipment to maintain NATO. Trump may ease his 5% NATO defense spending demand if Europe boosts interoperability with the United States military and invests more in American companies, according to Bloomberg. German President Steinmeier: if we have to accept the new U.S. administration will not respect established rules and trust-based relations in international politics, diplomacy is not a cage fight. Well, it kind of is with Mr. Trump, but all right. Sorry, real quick. Sorry. I'm getting ready to video my load for PrepperNow, which I'm sure I'll get jacked with as well. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says a failed Ukraine weakens Europe and the U.S. We need a surge in European defense spending. United States Vice President J.D. Vance expressing opinions is not election interference, even when the person is very influential. I love how these people call themselves liberal, but they don't want other opinions. The literal definition of liberal is like to allow other people's opinions and have the freedom to have just conversations with people, even if you disagree with them. So that is progressive fascism, is when you won't allow other people to speak. I don't care what your politics are. I will have a conversation. I will let everybody hear it, and then I will friggin' destroy you when it comes to your stupid political opinions. I would love the person in the back that hates this channel so much. I would give anything I own to have a debate with them, because I can absolutely assure that person I will freaking destroy you and your opinions on every level. If you ever want to have a debate, Mr. Person in the back of YouTube, you email me. I'll show my face. I will absolutely go and have any kind of a debate anytime, anywhere with you. I am not afraid of you by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're so fucking smart, why don't you email me and let's set it up? I'll promote it. I'll pay to promote it. Hell, I'll pay you to come to me. I'm absolutely deadpan serious about that. Anybody in YouTube in the back, if you want to have a debate with me, email me right now. I will talk to you, any single one of you. I have absolutely no fear of you whatsoever when it comes to an intellectual standing. Bring it. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance expressing opinions is not election interference, even though that person is very influential. Just as we survived Greta Thunberg, Europeans can survive Elon Musk. Elon Musk, please turn the eye of Doge and what they're doing to the political influence of big tech. Thank you, the world. Zelensky says we discussed a full ceasefire and prisoner exchange with Putin, but he didn't follow through. He's a liar. Negotiations without Ukraine or Europe are a bad idea. I hope Trump doesn't have such an idea. United States Senator Graham says Trump is not going to do what we did in Afghanistan. Ukraine will not end poorly. Let's do the minerals agreement. Let's have American interests here. If we sign this deal, Putin is screwed. Trump will defend the deal. Zelensky says if we do not join NATO, then we must double the size of our army. German Defense Minister Pistorius said United States Vice President speech at Munich Security Conference is unacceptable. Yeah, because he called you out on all kinds of stuff. He called you out for literally having laws in Scotland where people within their own home that they own, if they're within a couple hundred meters of an abortion clinic, they can't silently pray to God that the people come to Jesus and basically stop doing abortion and stuff like that. These are laws that are on the books. They were literally tapping on the people in their homes in Scotland saying, hey, you can't do this. This is what they're going against. Starmer tells Zelensky United Kingdom is committed to Ukraine's irreversible path to NATO. Donald Trump's mugshot is hanging outside the Oval Office. Canada has urgently begun pulling out its forces from the Congo who serve in the peacekeeping mission, and the situation continues to deteriorate rapidly. We are getting to a point where there might be a third Congolese war, and it's very, very close. Westerners are pulling out because it's getting very violent there. United States Vice President Vance torches European leaders and bureaucrats for criminalizing free speech in an extraordinary Munich speech. Zelensky claims that Trump gave him his personal number and told them that he could call him anytime he wants. The United States proposed a deal in Munich granting Washington 50% rights to Ukraine's future mineral resources, but Zelensky refused to sign. Netanyahu is pushing United States President Donald Trump to back a military strike on Iran's sorry, I got said I'm getting multiple. Strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. Israel sees Iran as vulnerable after setbacks in Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria, along with the October 2024 Israel strike on Iran's defenses and missile facilities. Israeli officials believe that without a Libya-style dismantling of its nuclear program, Iran must be stopped by force. The U.S. has already supplied bunker-busting bombs capable of targeting Iran's underground nuclear sites in Fordo. U.S. intelligence predicts Israel will strike within 6 months if no agreement is reached, according to the Washington Post. Trump says he will take a tough stance on Gaza tomorrow, but he's not sure what Israel will do. We already know. Trump says that Europe is losing freedom of speech and has a major immigration problem plagued by crime. That is correct. Yes, there was another violent happening today after the violent happening 2 days ago, the one where that World War III idiot called it right-wingers. No, it was an asylum seeker. Well, guess what? A 14-year-old had his life taken from him today in another story that's going to come up again later. Israel is preparing tomorrow for the most significant wave of releases so far in the state of the deal. 369 people are expected to be released from Israeli prisons. 333 were arrested in the ground maneuver in the Gaza Strip after 710 and will be released back to the Strip. 10 of them will be released back to Judea and Samaria, 1 to East Jerusalem. 25 life prisoners will be deported to the Gaza Strip or abroad via Egypt. European Union Foreign Minister Kaja Kallas is listening to J.D. Vance's speech today. Felt like the U.S. was trying to start a fight with us. No, we want you to stop sucking. We want you to get back to the basis of Western thought and free intellect and freedom of speech. You know, the things you guys were built on, but now you're ruined by political POSs like you, Kaya. Violent clashes took place between protesting students and security forces at Tehran University. The protest was reportedly sparked by the government failure to take responsibility for the killing of a 19-year-old student last night by armed robbers. The Associated Press has been banned from the Oval Office in Air Force One after repeatedly refusing to acknowledge the legally recognized name change of the Gulf of America. There's a real spat going on. They're not backing down. President Trump set to sign an executive order cutting federal funding for schools, enforcing the Rona jab mandizzles. So, big things going on in the Department of Education. So we're going to just see how all that goes. But yeah, there's big changes coming there. ICE agents in Chicago are notifying businesses that they could face a $1,000 fine if warrants are undocumented or lack the paperwork to be there. Reports in Lebanon, the U.S. conveyed to the presidential palace in Beirut an Israeli threat against Beirut airport if the Iranian plane lands, and therefore the Lebanese authorities decided not to approve its landing. There's a plane coming in. They thought there might be some, you know, nasty stuff on there from Iran to Lebanon to help Hezbollah, and they wanted to, stop it. So they just, did what they could to stop it. And then there was a big protest and yada, yada, yada. Drill baby drill. Trump announces he's opening back up the $625 million acres of offshore areas for drilling. That is getting some people to the herd of butt. 3 returning hostages have just been transferred to the IDF and ISA forces in the Gaza Strip. 3 returning hostages are currently being accompanied by IDF, Special Forces, and ISA forces on their return to Israeli territory, where they will undergo an initial medical assessment. Commanders and soldiers of the Israeli Defense Forces salute and embrace the returning hostages as they make their way home to the state of Israel. The IDF spokesperson's unit asks everyone to respect the privacy of the returning hostages and their families. There are 73 hostages still held in Gaza, and Hamas intends to use them as bargaining chips for years, possibly until the end of the decade. This serves as an insurance policy and strategy to bring Israel to its knees. It has always worked. 369 Palestinian prisoners released today in exchange for civilian hostages who were given shirts that read, "We will not forget and we will not forgive." Come on over, make sure everything's going good. All right, good. There we are. As part of the first phase of the ceasefire, 1,135 Palestinian prisoners have been released so far. 224 life prisoners, 236 prisoners sentenced to long terms, 555 Gazans arrested in the Strip after October 7th, 69 women, 51 minors, aged 19 and under. Trump says we have set a deadline for the release of all hostages at 12 o'clock. We will support any decision by Israel. President Trump used capital letters to make a very clear point. Hamas didn't comply with his demand. I believe he is also hinting at the Israeli side to take bold action. Sadly, I must admit that this won't happen. Here in Israel, we have too many weak people, weak leaders, weak generals. Keith Kellogg, Trump's new envoy for the war in Ukraine at the Munich Security Conference, said that European countries will not be party to the agreement to end the war in Ukraine and will not sit around the negotiating table. Following Trump's statement, the Prime Minister's office published the following statement a few minutes ago. Prime Minister Netanyahu greatly appreciates President Trump's leadership and ongoing coordination with the United States. The combination of the reinforcement of the IDF forces around the Gaza Strip and President Trump's aggressive stance led to the release of 3 of the 4 hostages today, despite Hamas's earlier refusal to release them. Prime Minister also appreciates the president's full support for Israel's decisions regarding the Gaza Strip going forward. Prime Minister will convene the political security cabinet as soon as possible to decide on Israel's next steps. A 2-year-old girl and her mom have died in a Munich hospital after the Islamic car ramming attack carried out by an Afghan asylum seeker on Thursday. The seeker was yet again claims that European lives, 5th one of these in 12 months, and yet there was another one today. So to World War III idiot, seems it wasn't a right-winger, and actually we just want the truth and are like people that want to get back to normal, and all the crazy stuff that's going on in our government is by people at the hands of you and your stupidity. 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker who perpetrated the car ramming admitted that he is an Islamist. He says Allah had ordered him to carry out the attack and that he wanted to send everyone to paradise. Oh, look, another one. In Villach, Austria, Syrian asylum seeker randomly stabbed 14 people and killed a 14-year-old boy. At what point, folks? Like, at what point? At what point? Seriously. It just goes on and on and on. Trump administration will support Israel in maintaining a buffer zone in Syria for years, despite pressure from the EU and the UN. American Vice President J.D. Vance condemned European politicians for opening the floodgates to illegal immigrants and urged them to tackle the issues of migrant criminals. How many times must we suffer these appalling setbacks before we change course and take our shared civilization in a new direction? He offered his thoughts and prayers to the victims of yesterday's terror attack in Munchen, where an Afghan migrant deliberately drove his car into a crowd of people. Of course. U.S. President Donald Trump on Twitter said, "He who saves his country does not violate any law." Ukraine-Russia war, the latest security conference in Munich, entered the next round. Of course, arguments are once again being made about potential peace in Ukraine. Zelensky, for example, calls for a European army. It also becomes quite clear that the Ukrainians want security guarantees before any negotiations take place. On line of contact, however, everything remains the same. The Russians are launching further offensive operations in several places in the south of Donetsk Oblast. Ulakli is currently also in danger of being encircled due to the high pressure from the Russian army. East of Pokrovsk, the Russians succeed in capturing another village. The attacks in this area continue with the same intensity as in the previous days. West of Toretsk, the Russians also secure further positions in Shchyabyunivka in the central part of the town. Cold War II resource bargain. Israeli newspaper of record Haaretz openly acknowledges that Netanyahu intends to attack Iran and pull the United States into the conflict. Department of Education has instructed all 50 states to remove all programs and initiatives related to DEI in the next 14 days. If they fail to do so, their eligibility for federal funding will be under review. Pope has been diagnosed with acute respiratory tract infection. Chief engineer of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, Oleksandr Titarchuk, states that there is the possibility of a radiation leak after last night's Russian drone attack. Mexican National Guard in the Chihuahuan prosecutor's office has arrested the leader of the Sinaloa cartel in the Juarez Valley, namely Humberto Rivera, Namdeguer, El Don, and El Viejon, in a raid this early morning. The individual was also on the FBI's hit list. Also not a coincidence, U.S. intelligence and surveillance aircrafts were active in the area the last few days back. We are well on our way to the Third Congo War. For those who don't know, the Second Congo War, aka Africa's World War, took place between 1998 and 2003, killed over 5.4 million Africans, and involved 9 countries. That is coming back. Zelensky now calls for the creation of an army in Europe to guard against Russia, as he suggests the United States may no longer come to Ukraine's and the continent's aid. Trump's administration is continuing with dismantling the country's homeland security, as the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, has fired more than 400 Homeland Security employees. So he was all butthurt about that. Keep in mind, the federal workforce is about 15% larger than what it was in 2016 when Trump's first term. That's how many people that Biden put in there. Also keep in mind, it's like ability to process stuff and it's just functionality by a lot of ways and metrics is about 10 to 15% less functional than what it was. So what are we paying for? United States Department of Defense is preparing to launch Minuteman III ICBM this year, early next week from the United States Space Force SFB Vandenberg launch site along the Western Missile Range facility toward the Kwajalein Atoll or Kwajalein Atoll test site. Latest U.S. intelligence reports indicate that in addition to destroying Iran's nuclear facilities and ballistic missile project, Israel's main and central goal is regime change in Tehran. 1,500 employees of the United States Department of Energy, including 325 staff from the National Nuclear Security Administration, overseeing the U.S. nuclear arsenal, have been fired by the Trump administration. The Department of Government Energy is basically presenting the firings, and yeah, they're going in and they're trying to streamline and make things more efficient. There's nothing wrong with that. European countries have been quietly working on a plan to send troops into Ukraine to help enforce future peace settlements with Russia. We have clear intelligence that Russian Federation plans to send troops to Belarus in the summer under the pretext of exercises, but this is exactly how the invasion of Ukraine was prepared 3 years ago, according to Zelensky. THC Channel wrote, "Are these forces for an attack on Ukraine? Perhaps they are for you, Europe." This guy's an idiot. Armed forces of Europe must be created. Only the Ukrainian army in Europe has experienced a waging war. The EU cannot cope alone, but neither can we. We must understand that now America can say no to the Europe on many issues and pose a threat to us. We need a strong European army. It's time to create a European armed forces. Go for it. Do it. Send your money. Spend your money. You got the people. You got more people than we do. You got 450 million people. Go for it. Get a nice army together with if you can find any normal people under the age of 30. Destruction of the U.S. from within the orders of Musk. No, it's not destruction. It's called streamlining. Criminal Trump administration. No, they're not criminal. They're doing everything legitimately. Fired more than 300 employees from the National Nuclear Security Agents, according to CNN, while the corrupt Department of Energy said that the number of those fired was less than 50. This guy can't get any more wrong. Russian Navy diesel electric attack submarine Krasnodar spotted near Algeria, Western Med, which is said to be supported by the deep sea tug Yevgeny Churov. Submarine reportedly continues its passage in an easterly direction. Its final destination is still unknown. Possibly related to the tensions between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. Entire European intelligence in Europe is explicitly notifying those elements on the social media platforms who, against our rights to defend from Russian influence, along with Portugal, Spain, France, UK, Germany, Poland, and the Czech Republic. And Putin will be happy if the result is a simple ceasefire. That is according to Mr. Zelensky. And there you have it. All right, friends. I'm such a terrible human being. I had to go sponsor a open gym, for a bunch of youth. So I apologize, YouTube, for being such a terrible human being, for wanting truth, for believing that our government is bloated and needs to be streamlined, and for helping out our youth and providing entertainment for people at local clubs and stuff. I know I'm such an awful human being here. Just. I like every time you think they get lower, they get lower. There's absolutely nothing. I've never seen anything like it. So we're going to end on this note. And if you like what we're doing here, please support, please. I'm telling you, they are going after me hard. But guess what? They're going to lose. They're already losing. These are the last death throes of an ideology that is insane and wrong and problematic for society, and all of those that are holding on to it, you're going to lose. No matter what happens. If you never see this channel again or the other stuff, you're going to lose, because that's the trend. So you might as well come to terms with it. Okay? To all the others, God bless you all. I mean, I just can't thank you enough for the support. Just look at what's going on here. Look at what we have to fight here. This is ridiculous. I mean, am I doing anything wrong? I mean, I'm just telling people what's going on. I go around to different places. I put the information out there and I let you see it. That's all it is. And I'm usually about 36 hours before everybody else. That's all we're doing. Sorry, I'm not Fox News. Sorry, I'm not CNN. Sorry, I'm not MSNBC. Sorry. I just want the truth. I know the people here want the truth too. So I really, really, really appreciate. Yeah, Frank, I've heard that Bear has had a lot. I love Bear. I have mad respect for Bear. I think of all the people out there, the people I have the most respect for, top of the list are probably Bear, and Popular and Angry and Magic. Those are my people. Those are the channels I watch. And Hudson Valley. I love him as well. Hudson Valley should be at 50,000 subscribers. I told him that the other day. So please come and watch his video with me. We're going to put it out on our channels. I'll be with him on Monday. But just thank you so much. God bless you all. Exactly. If we can't tell the truth, then, what are we doing here? All right. Friends, we'll see you on the next one. If you like it, support like Monkey Food Garden. You can go on to Subscribestar and Locals. You can support here on YouTube. Whatever we need, y'all. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.